We're live.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Town of Meridian Hills Council meeting. If we could please start with the Pledge of Allegiance, I would appreciate it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Tonight, our second item on the agenda is resident forum. Anyone is welcome to make a comment that they would like to bring in front of the town council. If you could limit your request or your comments to 5 minutes or less, we would appreciate it. Are there any people that would like to make a comment?
Good evening, Stephanie Trushan on behalf of Creek DeVault and Second Presbyterian Church. With that is Steve Alspa, also on behalf of the church. We'll take just a couple of minutes and want to give a short update on the process Second Presbyterian has been going through and working through some of the recommendations from the Land Use Committee. So just a brief update to share that information on the signage matter for the digital sign that they've been working on internally, I think, since about 2019. I know that the church met with the Land Use Committee about 18 months ago, and so it's been in the process of employing those recommendations. And we'll meet certainly with the Land Use Committee again before the council. But I'll turn it over to Steve to give a brief update of where things stand with the church currently.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we've had a little document here that we included with letters that we sent to the neighbors. We started the process of going house to house as we were asked to do. And this is part of what we shared with them. Just a logo of why this, why now, what is it, that sort of thing, and some updated images. As you know, we met with you guys, with members of the Land Use Committee. Sorry. Anybody else back there should get? No, I got it for the best. We're good. And the Land Use Committee had given us some questions to answer, some suggestions on the appearance and signage, some requirements such as the door-to-door visits that we need to make. So we've begun that process, and we'd like to come back then in January at your next council meeting to give you more of a full presentation on that. But between now and then, we would also then like to meet with the Land Use Committee to follow up so that they've got a sense that we've responded to all their comments and questions before the next council meeting. Well, yeah, there's actually two signs involved. One would be a name signage, that's the one on the right in that image, and that would be more on the east side of the church. The other one, which would replace the need for the banner that's stretched across the chain link fence and the sign at the end of the monument sign. That one's on the line. I'm sorry. That would be the new sign that's private drive.
That's just south.
That would be an event sign.
Okay. Any questions? Thanks.
Thank you.
Look forward to hearing from you. We'll get the Land Use Committee together.
Okay. Will you respond directly then to Kevin regarding the timing of the Land Use Committee?
Again, those timing is based upon the availability of the members that are there. And I haven't received a request from Kevin to have a meeting yet. So once I have that request, I will then move forward and poll the members of the Land Use Committee, and we will make that available as based on everybody's availability.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else have a question or the president forum?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm Phil Lewis. I spoke to you last week.
Nice to talk to you. Proceed.
My company is PJ Lawn Care and Landscaping. We're here on 8002 North Pennsylvania. We have a project going on there where we're doing some landscape improvements. And, you know, Walter stopped by to say, hey, you guys didn't get the proper permission or didn't run this through Meridian Hills. We were under the impression—
Let's make that correct. I suggested that there had not been, that fences and walls in front yards are not permitted. And I asked if they had possibly gone forward with that.
Gotcha.
And the answer was no.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
I wasn't there when you showed up, I was just from my home. So our question really is, are we or are we not in the jurisdiction of Meridian Hills based off of the lot map? More of the property is outside of Meridian Hills than inside of Meridian Hills, and based off of the maps of Meridian Hills, all other properties are clearly defined. This one is not. So, you know, our question is not to ruffle feathers or anything, but on behalf of the owner, he wants to know, am I in Meridian Hills? Am I out of Meridian Hills? By definition, by the plat that established the town of Meridian Hills. And, you know, if you touch, are you in jurisdiction, or is the part of the property that is in the map in jurisdiction, or is the, you know, that would be the...
So this is David Borden, our town engineer at Crossroads. And again, this is something that we talked about last week. I really haven't had a chance to offer this to them.
Yeah.
And so what I would suggest is that we let them look at it, and I'll get back with you, or one of us will get back with you as quickly as we can. I don't know the legal precedent of if any of it is in, is all of it in.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you that the maps that you sent and that you believe show only part of it is. I know that for the last 22 or 3 years that I've been working on this, we have treated that residence as though it was in the town of Meridian Hills.
Mm-hmm.
It had been in front of the town of Meridian Hills, I believe, when Jeff Lord owned it, when they made the motor court that was there. I don't know that the Pences had, the next owner had any reason to come before the council.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm not telling you that that is absolutely the way it is. I know we've treated it that way.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, our surveyor pulled the original plot from Meridian Hills today. I mean, he got the line right on that survey for the original from like 1934, the handwritten plat from Meridian Hills. You know, we did pull that data, and you know, he's like, there is no clearly defining covenant that says whether it's in or out based off of this. Certainly part of the property's in, certainly part of the property's out. So our question may be a question that's never been answered before, might need to be dove into deeper on how that goes. But just on behalf of our client, we just, you know, want to try to figure out whether we need to pursue further. Really, they're asking for 4 columns with gas lamps out in front. They've dropped the wall. They don't even want the wall. They're just going to cover the footing. And, you know, so what they're really asking for is 4 columns on the edge of their motor court. You know, and...
Well, is there a new driveway?
It's basically facing it's following the shape of the existing, but we are going to flatten out the top. So there's, you know, situation to park there instead of in the road. You know, that was the primary objective of the redesign of the front. You know, they already have a motor court, they already have a gate. You know, so what they were trying to do is, right now when they have guests over, everybody parks up along Pennsylvania. They're trying to, you know, get a little bit of space, flat parking out in front of their house to be able to park guests off the road. So,
How many, is that just along the curvature, or are they going to change that and try and put some spaces there?
Jonathan can probably answer that better, that's why he's here, he designed this, but I mean, we do have a copy of that. That one? Let's see. Go on. Sorry, take my other right. Yeah, that's gonna be pass that around the, you know.
Yeah. I don't know the legal description.
When you pull up the legal parcel description, it doesn't look like a Meridian Hills property. It says it touches Meridian Hills, it doesn't have Meridian Hills lot number. It's on the survey, the definition of it is, where like the house south of them is about this, they've since decided they don't necessarily want this wall, just the landscaping. So, that's really the item in question, or what it looks like as far as the plat goes, is these two columns here. You know, if the whole property is owned, that's the 4 columns. And this,
Two,
yeah.
Hey, Mike, do we cover, I believe we cover that residence as part of what we would call within the town, is that correct?
All the
You know here how there's a driveway on the north side of their property that goes back to the Meridian Street residence? That was the property, the end of the, yeah. And they're saying, according to the legal description, it's not only half of that lot is in the town of Meridian Hills. And the northern portion of it is not a section like, so that property.
Yeah. I mean, if you pull up the maps that are published, here's the actual old, I didn't print this, because you can't necessarily read it real well, but here's the block E that's referenced on the survey. This is that line, 45-foot easement that runs across there. It shows on the permit, or on this line right here. It's this line right here. It doesn't show it on the landscape plan. This is the line that runs through here. So that's the same line as block E, north line of block E is this line right here. It runs across here, it shows it on the survey all the way across. So it literally cuts this property a little less than half. It equates to just over a third of the property in block E.
Yeah. David will be able to help us with some point.
Mr. President, we got a couple of comments. I watched my wire.
Awesome.
I'm Sloan Schaefer, the town attorney from Law Firm Denton. I can look into this further if requested, but based on what I'm seeing, it does look like the zoning splits the parcel, and that the current parcel was formerly 2 separate tax parcels. The north tax parcel was outside of Meridian Hills and the south was within it, and at some point the parcels were combined, but the zoning still splits the zoning line doesn't change.
Okay. So only the south portion of their residence is included within the town. Okay, subject to both requirements. I don't know what our requirements are. Yeah, it's a good question. Or is it like a bridge? You're on the center. You touch it on both, it's not like a bridge.
Do we know, is there a ruling if it touches us and it extends to the north that our rules apply, or if it touches the south and south rules apply?
Based on my experience, the line is where the line is, and if it splits a tax parcel, then it splits the tax parcel, and it's a hard line.
Okay, so.
But it doesn't necessarily extend into that entire tax parcel. A portion of the tax parcel is within it.
So probably, or like the zoning for Meridian Hills will only apply to half a lot.
Correct.
Where are these gas?
There's 2 in the north and 2 in the.
2 in the north, 2 in the south.
So.
The line would be, the line, this little cut right here, the parcel's half, and that would be something that Meridian Hills, for a 45 foot, the property shifts back. But these 2 will be in Meridian Hills, is that line that would be These two would be hybrid partners. Obviously, the wall's not gonna happen anymore, but what we're trying to do is get people park off the road. So that was their objective and goal with this whole thing from a front standpoint. Yeah.
That's it is, for instance, as far as those are supposed to be.
Twenty-four inches. Maximum height in the front yard.
Is that for a fence or
There's no fences in the front yard. I think that's Meridian County,
Yeah.
24 inches.
Right,
42. I don't know that we, how,
We're not asking for a fence or a wall, we're asking for
just two falls.
a lamp post. Essentially, that's decorative and architectural. So, yeah.
but we can't take action on it tonight. That I do, because we have to, let our land, and you and I talked about our land, maybe we can take action on it in January.
Okay. We're trying to put this project to bed before Christmas, so to have the guests over for the holidays. If there's any chance we could expedite that through emails and conversation.
That, not through emails, we have to call a special session, council to look at it.
Yeah, so that, I mean, he's trying to be able to have his family over and get stuff done.
I understand.
We've never intended on doing anything, like sliding anything under the rug or behind you guys. Our interpretation of what we have was we were they issued all permits and we've had other issues with Meridian Hills. They said, hey, your owner's got to go to Meridian Hills Council and do their stuff first, so, yeah. When we went to
And again, it's,
Just gotta go further, man. It looks like it's with two houses. I don't know what it looks like.
it's not Willow Street, it's City of Indianapolis. On the west side of the street is the City of Indianapolis.
City of Indianapolis is approved everything, so. Yeah.
Let us go through this phone call. Yep. Thank you very much.
Have a great evening.
Have a good evening. Are there any residents that bring anything else to the council this evening? Okay, seeing none, next is the approval of the minutes of the October 13th.
Mr. President, I made a quick point of the minutes. I put in the minutes that town marshal Mike Russo was absent, but actually Mike Russo was not invited to the budget session, so I don't want that to.
Correct.
Official position.
Okay. He was not absent, he did not attend. Is that a better way?
That's it.
Yeah, all right, so approval of the minutes of the October 13th, 2025 special budget meeting. Has everybody had a chance to look at it? It's been moved, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign? Great. Next, clerk treasurer's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. On your agenda, you'll see October 2025 reconciliation. We do not have the October statements from the banks yet. Interesting enough, obviously I had November on there. We're not through November yet. So no action is needed on the first bullet point. Second bullet point, we need a vote on your voucher packet, which was provided to you, showing a total of $23,987.65. In that voucher packet, if I could take you down to the new business section on the Baumgartner invoice, that shows the total contract for the Baumgartner invoice, and in the voucher packet tonight is just 7,501 cents on that project, which start to close out. We will close out that contract in January. I just wanted to be clear. So we need a motion and approval on the voucher packet.
Where on the vouchers, do I see that $7,500?
It's not on there, go ahead.
It's not, Mr. President. The invoice from Bob Gardner came in after the voucher packet was prepared.
Okay.
So that approval will be on your January voucher packet.
Okay.
But the check is being presented to you and John this evening.
So does the $7,500, is that included in the $23,000? It's not.
It is not, and it does not need.
Okay, right. So all we're doing is approving that we're going to sign that and send it off, and it'll be presented in the January.
Correct.
Perfect. Thank you. So, any questions? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the accounts payable vouchers in the amount of $23,987.65. It's been moved. Is there a second? Moved and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Great.
Yeah, in front of all the commissioner, councilors is the 2026 salary ordinance. 2025-1101. It gives you the ordinance for this upcoming year. If you have any questions, we can answer it, but we will need approval from the town council this evening to go with it. It's in your packet.
Okay, and this would be the one showing the 2025 versus the 2026?
That's in the email. It's
Right.
also in your packet.
The ordinance itself for the salary.
The only change in the salary ordinance for 2026 is a slight increase for the hourly rate for the
Right.
police officers. Otherwise, the rates are all the same.
Okay, so that being said, I would entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2025-11-01. Move. Second. Any further discussion? Everybody had a chance to look at it. Again, keeps everything the same with the exception of it raises our deputy town marshal hourly to $33 from $32. Okay. All in favor of approving ordinance number 2025-11-01 indicate by saying aye. Opposed, the same sign. Carries.
Next, we need a note in the minutes of a resolution by the council authorizing year-end financial statement appropriation adjustments needed. This has been a verbal resolution noted in the minutes, and we'll have a follow-up in January. Just need you to so note.
So noted.
Next is the engagement letter, which I want to recommend strongly to keep in place LWG as our CPA advisors. There is a slight increase, but I would have to tell you, they keep us moving forward and they keep everything organized and they do a damn good job. We need a motion to approve that for next year.
So I would entertain a motion to approve the maintaining the scope of services and engagement letter for the accounting firm and consulting services for 2026 for LWG CPA advisors. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved. There's a second and a third. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Good.
Thank you. Also, on our first meeting of January 12th, 2026, I will bring to you the renewal for Crossroads Engineering Firm, which I fully intend to recommend to the council that we reinstate them for next year. They've also been very good and David's excellent to work with as well. Moving forward, we need to approve and give authorization to the president and the clerk treasurer to renew our snow removal contract. Obviously, the snow is here already, unfortunately. President, we get a motion to do that, and we'll negotiate it moving forward, put it in place.
So, there is no ARW, who has handled the snow removal for the town for the last 8, 9, maybe 10 years, sent a contract. I think there is a slight increase, but we will, it would be my recommendation that we use ARW. Again, they have good equipment, they've done a good job for us in those years, and they're very proactive to both needing salt and plowing as needed.
Very timely when we call them, they're within, what, Walter, 30 minutes?
Yeah, they're from the south side, it takes them a while to come. So I would entertain a motion to approve the contract with ARW for the 2025-2026 snow season. It's been moved, second. Second, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed? Good. John?
I'm done, Mr. President. We can move forward to the town engineer.
David?
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council, David Gordon, Crossroad Engineers. A few updates, the 2024-01 and 2024-02 community crossing projects with Baumgartner and Midwest. We are in the process of closing out with PennDOT. I've received canceled checks for most, except for this $7,500 final invoice from Baumgartner that you guys are reviewing and signing tonight. Once that is received in cash, and get the final canceled checks back, we can close up with PennDOT. So we put those to rest and plan to have that done by the end of the year. The 2025 asset management plan. So this is the annual TASER review and rating of the road segments. We completed that in October. We had to wait until the asset management plan through LTAP was open so we get the new forms. So we're transferring those over under the review stage, and we'll have that submitted prior to December 1st. Funding application of 2026-1 community crossings application was submitted before the first of this month, so that is in. We anticipate hearing back from the state in January. You know, if you were or were not awarded. If successful, we plan on having a bid package and bidding that project in February. So it will be spring of 2026 anticipated construction schedule. We discussed location for the radar, flashing stop sign, as well as the radar, solar power radar signage. I had an estimated cost of $8,000 for 2 signs and for the radar sign. We got actual quote back from Morphe. It was $10,000, so $2,000 more than the council previously approved. But I based my estimate off the older quote they've given us. They apparently marked that up. So I have not moved forward, given that I was only authorized up to $8,000. So I wanted to ask the council's permission to either proceed with that, or the alternative would be that we try to acquire the material, the equipment ourselves, and maybe we can negotiate with vendors direct, and then get a cost just for installation from Morphe. Right now, as it is, the code is for them to acquire material and installation. So that is to
For the 3, the radar and the 2
signs.
flashing
Yep.
stop signs.
He called me and asked me, I said, I can't make that decision unilaterally, it needs to come amongst our, and
What's the likelihood of you save any money by trying to piece apart and put it together?
I mean, putting me on the spot, asking, I would say, $1,500, $1,200, maybe we could say. I mean, it's not a major amount. I think the ease of just having them proceed is probably the best bet. That's what I would recommend. But when it is, at least give you the option.
When they do, is there a warranty that comes with it? Like, it says it's working for 24 months or something?
Whatever products warranty will be passed on to the town.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they were, but I think it was a 2 to 3 year warranty on that.
unless it exceeds the 10,000 that we now have?
This is they've already given me this is, if you approve, this is their lump sum cost, so it will not go up from there. So this is their locked in cost right now.
I'm sorry.
You said,
How are we on the budget? We got some.
We haven't done this. All right, let's go ahead and move forward unless anybody disagrees. Great. Okay.
And that is all that I can report. So thank you.
Any residents have any questions for our town engineer this evening?
What's the timeline for the installation timeline?
Of the stop signs?
Yeah, they said that it's a matter of, they couldn't give me a direct answer on acquisition of material, so it's all, whatever the lead time is on ordering it. But I would estimate that it would be still yet this winter, that they could do that. It's not weather dependent, so I would still anticipate them to get done. So.
This winter meeting by the end of the year or by the end of March?
I would say February, yeah, like February, not by December.
I thought when you talk to them, I'd like to see if those could be put in certainly by the end of the year, so that when we start the school year, there would be those to benefit the kids, because they're walking in the dark now.
Sure.
And I think the best opportunity would be to get that done sooner rather than
Absolutely.
later. Okay. The town marshal report, Mr. Russo.
Good evening, Mr. President. I'm Mike Russo, the Meridian Hills Town Marshal. Nothing substantial to add to the report I submitted, although today I just left the office. The resident at 138 Fairway reported a canoe stalled in the backyard. So if you see a canoe, that's what we're looking for. And Halloween went very well. Everybody was safe, the weather was good. Report that we ran out of candy, so next year we're at 500. We do appreciate you purchasing that every year. It's a big deal for the kids to run up to the car. So that's all I have, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any of our residents or our council members have any questions for Mr. Russo? Great. Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate it. Under new business, approval of the addendums engagement for the eminent domain possibility, and I guess there is a couple of questions that Greg has as it relates to whether or not we skip these residents and move to the next location closest to where the sidewalk would be, so that we could maybe not have to endure that cost and continue on with our success or with our extension of the sidewalk. And it's my distinct recollection that sometime in the past, and this sidewalk has now been discussed for 7, 8 years, and we have a good part of it, not a good part, we have a portion done. But there were some questions of where you didn't want to stop and start it because then residents are walking out into the street and back off the street, onto the street. Greg didn't have the same recollection that I did, and he wanted some verification, tell me from, or evidence that that is a bad, or that the town has been given some idea that that's a bad idea because he thinks the opportunity to move past this and maybe come back down the line is a better choice than starting down the road of litigation to seek that through eminent domain.
I can't speak for years past, and what was discussed. I can say, through zoning and other land use developments, part of that requirement is to build segments of sidewalk. So I think there's precedent that there are segments of sidewalk with starts and stops throughout the entire city county. There is something to be said if somebody is walking intentionally through a corridor and there's a stop and they want to go there, that there is that
striping, we always had that, and that.
Yes.
On all of 75th Street, we're trying to fix that with the sidewalk.
So shared the road for bikes is different, that's more cyclists than other transportation, not for families to walk.
Currently, people walk in the street.
Does it materially affect the price if we're, like, for instance, in the next section, we do it, and then we have to go back for, what is it, 2 lots? Just, you know,
You probably did a whole block.
There's 3 houses. Oh, okay, you're saying skip the whole
Skip the
block.
whole block.
Yeah, skip a block.
So the question I have is, do we own all the property in the next one?
East of, Washington Boulevard.
Yes.
I believe we did.
We do too, but we should check. And then, another question, do we have an estimate if they say, oh yeah, fine, in domain, take our property? Do we have any idea how much money we gotta come up with to buy that property?
So we can do that, we also, in Crossroads, we provide acquisition as a service we provide, and we have, teams of appraisers that we work with, so we can give an idea of what that appraised value will be. If it goes to a domain, you have to get by court more than one appraisal, right? But we can give you an idea of what that would be, so you can go in knowing this is about what it costs.
In this type of procedure, would it be similar to the pieces that were taken from eminent domain for the bridge? Or is it based on that specific lot?
It's based on that, I mean, we can do it in, looking at appraisals, not appraisal, what they would do is they look at the properties on that, not on that per se. They would look at lot 75th to get more realistic costs and values, particularly for that location.
Probably a little less.
I'm sorry.
Probably a little less.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
We need 2 properties, so
It's at
we
least
should probably get it just then. Buy those 2 properties.
Are we in resistance from both properties?
No, just the one we did move to the next one, because this back and forth was something we, start was something Greg's come up with a suggestion that maybe we just jump the whole thing and then move down and try and go from there and,
Start from the east and move back
Yeah.
to the west.
Well, you just try to do as much as you can, and maybe, it gives you more time to talk to homeowners. Let's say we win in the domain, how much time do you have to buy the property? You buy their section of the property, that sidewalk.
venturing into more of a slow, but what I recall, when it goes to condemnation, it's in the court, like as soon as there's a ruling, that, I think that check has to be cut.
Yeah, right, so what if it's $200,000, I have no idea what it is, but we gotta make sure we got that money to write the check to close the deal. And so I don't even know what it could possibly be, then we'd have to ask our esteemed council and accountant, do we have $50,000? I checked $50,000, we have it. I don't know. It seems to me, I would just like to take a pause on it, do a little more research, can we jump over, what that section look like, and do we own that property? I think we do. What's that section look like? And if, what do we think this piece of property is going to cost us? Probably figure out the next piece of property too, just to find that out. We don't know if they're going to have to go to that. We need to have some idea. That plus the cost of the sidewalk in there might be one of the reasons we jump over. Maybe try to come back later.
Council, the rainy day fund has 100,000. But I don't know how you all will file with the committee.
So we have a meeting in January, right?
Next meeting is January 12th.
Is that, I'm suggesting that we just give ourselves a pause, answer these questions, pick up this discussion in January.
Coming back January to recap for me, estimate on what land costs would be, plus what is the actual estimate of construction and project costs if we are to move to the next section.
So,
Appraisals and how much interest.
so I don't disagree that now in January, we've lost a year and a half, almost 2 years since we've done a section of this. And I've had the opportunity to meet with that property owner, and she is a wonderful lady. There's a disagreement over, I don't think there's a disagreement. I most recently talked to her 6-7 weeks ago via text asking, would you be interested in, we want to move forward. She said no, she has a new tenant in there and they have newborns. I don't know what that had to do with the willingness to move forward with this, other than maybe it would disturb a tenant that she has, and she's being proactive to her tenant by that. That's very good. My issue is that I know that once you file the eminent domain, the argument isn't whether we have the right to take it, because it is for the public good. So that happens immediately when it's filed. The disagreement in something like that happens over the value of something like this. And the value is, whatever it is. The appraisers will come with that. I'm sorry?
I believe what it is, that we pick an appraisal person, they can pick an appraisal person.
No.
The court, once it goes to condemnation, the court will then decide which, it's a court appointed appraisals, and then they take the average of those appraisals, and that's what.
How many, 2 or 3 appraisals?
It's, I think 2, but I think it's 2.
It could be if those 2 are more than a certain percentage apart, then they pick a third one and have it done again. But the appraisers are not inexpensive. I understand that.
Not us.
Do we want to approve Crossroads to do a preliminary appraisal so that we know if it fits within our budget, and before we go and take it to condemnation for
I just would like to have it, I mean, ultimately, we're going to take all the money and put it in the sidewalks. We all would. But if that allows us to jump over for that sidewalk, I don't know if that's a better deal or not. We don't know.
Timing is more important to me than cost at this point, because, and the cost is important, but there have been many people that have approached me and said, we will donate to the cost of this. We want to get it done. 75th Street is a major player. That's why I am as large a proponent as I am. I hear those, and again, we started this 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And I'm a proponent of it, and I believe there are people that are willing to contribute if we know what that number is. So I think it's a good idea to know what it is, so we have some target that we have to. We used ARP money to build the first section of it. We used Indiana Neighborhood Infrastructure Partnership for the city for the second, and we have continued, and there still are these INIP funds that are available that may not go on forever.
Correct.
I want to use them while we can, and whatever we don't have, I think from what people have said in my ear, will contribute money to get this done. That's why I don't want to wait any longer. Whether we do the rest of it and then come back to this, we're going to have that same issue. Let's do what we've done and go ahead and get started. We don't have to till January. I'm all for that, and get some reasonable cost. But my experience, having spent 2 years talking to these people, I don't think it's going to change.
We have, just for the council's reminder, that we've already set costs into some preliminary design and survey on this particular site.
We did the survey already.
Survey's done.
Survey's done. Did you send that to her?
And then INET historically has been open in February, so that would be us. If we're going to apply for 2026, I would say the project that we're most furthest along, the second would be more so ready to apply for.
And several of the houses in that area have changed hands sometime recently, so should be pretty easy to get a rough estimate just based on that. I'm guessing.
We can get estimates on that, so I mean, I would be able to provide that.
the decel lane and getting the city to agree, if that's the next section. Somebody, and so, again, you and Tom have handled the vast majority of that. Is there somebody in the city you could talk to see whether or not they could look at that decel lane and whether or not?
We have talked about the decel lane, 6 years. Really, take out decel lane. Apply it to remove the decel lane. And they say we take out both at the same time and not have just one, not have one that uses twice. So it'd be good to know, before you fire this off, it'd be good to know what our options are. Can we jump over it? Does that increase the cost? There's 3 houses, 3 properties going between the next 2 streets. So we can make a decision in January on what we're going to do.
2 of the properties, the last one is part of the PUD that was done Washington Boulevard South. We know we have that grant. That's not part of it. So there's 2 houses that are unknown. The house on the corner of Pennsylvania, the southwest corner of Pennsylvania and 75th Street, and the next house that is in the middle. And I believe that traded in the last year. Those are new tenants that have moved in there.
Southeast corner, Mr. President.
I'm sorry.
In the southeast.
South, did I say southwest? Sorry, southeast.
Probably need to find out somewhat soon that that second house is on board.
I'll make it a point to stop by and introduce myself.
Yeah, be good enough. If you buy 2 properties here, we flip, we judge it, actually, it doesn't make this problem go away.
So the third house that's on Washington, 75th is no problem, it's just the first.
Well, yeah. The only problem is there is that you have to take out, the city's got to agree to take out their DC.
Okay, so that's.
But we control that right of way at this time. We control the right of way on 75th, so we as a council have authority over taking
I
that.
do recall conversations with the former chief engineer of the city of Minneapolis, where that decel, he didn't even understand why it was there.
Yeah, it was there.
It serves 10 houses.
So I don't think it'll be a problem.
Well, it might be good engineering to take it out, take them out at the same time.
Yes.
That's what I might do.
Is there an XL lane on the east side?
There is.
Yeah.
On the north side of 75th, there's twice as many houses, no decelerators.
Yeah, it doesn't make,
Yeah, so it makes no sense.
Only because it was zoned, 15, 20 years ago as opposed, and it was because that was an undeveloped parcel.
So, it's still my suggestion is put this on hold, get some information, get some numbers, we meet back in January, and make a decision. Either go after the eminent domain or jump over it, move on down the road for a while. I think any sidewalk we get, people are gonna use.
So let me ask you this, if we, just in your mind's eye, if we jump over, do we jump all the way to college and then start working our way back toward, because we don't own we don't have enough right of way at college and 75th.
It's just the corner, that's a big one, that's very expensive.
Yeah.
You may think, when people are walking and they're walking up and down hills, I find them to be more unsafe than when they're flat. Because you're walking, the car comes over the hill and mom's pushing the carriage up the hill. So if you look just safety alone, and you had to pick where you put sidewalks in the safest area, you would put them on any slopes that you have. We have slopes in that area. It's not your first choice ever to build pieces and parts of a sidewalk, but from a safety standpoint, that's the first thing. We're not getting it by doing the next section, but we're starting ourselves up to get into that slope in the next section. We know that we don't own property for Park Deer, but they have fast told us you put a sidewalk on our property. Okay.
Does, if you started like from college and moved west, and it got down to 2 homes, does that increase their leverage when it gets down to 2 homes, or starting with them. I don't know if valuation has anything to do with, we're down to a small piece and there's a holdout. Does that cost the neighborhood more money as far as leverage goes, or is that?
It's just value.
I see what you're saying. Just like the last guy, when you're assembling a piece of property, and he's gonna get more than everybody else.
He gets more than everybody else, he holds out, you can't buy it, you can end up paying it. Pretty much makes it, whatever the average is, the property in the area. It's like their property versus the property along the street is what it's terms.
Appraisals,
The appraisal.
If they were open and negotiating, agreed, that would give them more leverage for negotiation. But
Right.
at this point, we already, eminent domain is what it's going to require to secure those. That price would be the same regardless. Other than if it's years down the road, just the appreciation of the.
Value keeps going up and down.
Well, let's find the price.
I mean, that's just a dartboard shot because you don't know what it is until you actually engage them to do that.
Yeah, the best we could do is historic costs, budget costs. We can kind of see what's there, but yes, until it's bid, it's a guess, but we can get as close a guess as we can.
Just give us a range.
Okay. Any other questions? The last item under new business is the Baumgartner invoice.
That's done.
That's done.
We'll handle that in January. The only other new business, Mr. President, is before the end of December 31st, if you want to waive your salary for 2026, send me an email and I'll get you the appropriate paper. But I need an email sent to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or not? Did someone else do that or not? I can't remember.
We did it last year.
I'm good. You're good. Okay.
You just need to send.
I did. Okay.
You gotta do it every year.
Yep.
Okay, great. Any other things to be brought before the council?
January 12th, 2026, 7 p.m. Next meeting.
And we need to make sure that we post sometime in January all our meetings for next year.
Yeah. John, can you email me all the dates?
Yes.
For 26 and I'll get them posted this weekend.
Done.
Yep. I got the January date, the 12th. But if you confirm the other ones, I think I can guess what they are.
Yeah. All right, thank you. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So, who's second?
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, the vouchers, did you do the voucher?
Okay, turn this on. Oh, yeah. Picks it up everywhere.
There is the chat.
Yes. Yes.